We all start somewhere. First jobs can range anywhere from fast food jobs to internships, but at one time or another, we will all be or already have been affected by minimum wage laws. Our society today wants the wage to be higher. There are protests everywhere in every major city to raise the minimum wage. Even here in Seattle, the push is to raise it to $15 an hour. However, the problem lies not in the amount, but in the existing law itself, contrary to popular belief. Therefore, the minimum wage laws should be removed because while good politics, they are economically deteriorating to businesses and the labor force. Hi, my name is Grace Young, and I will be speaking about the minimum wage outrage on this August 13th of 2019. I'm a finance major at Azusa Pacific University and have done hours of research on this topic. Thus, I am credible to speak. According to my audience analysis survey, all of you said that the minimum wage laws affect you or someone you know, and therefore you should pay close attention to the information presented in this speech. After listening to my persuasive speech, the audience will be convinced that minimum wage laws are not needed and should be left up to independent businesses because of the increasing unemployment rates, individual region needs, and less skilled workers getting beat out by more skilled workers. Thus bringing me to my first main point, that the minimum wage increases unemployment rates. The problem is that the goal of creating the minimum wage was to provide jobs during the Great Depression at a low cost. Well, now these laws have stuck, even though the economy is so high and booming. Thus, the main problem of minimum wage now is that unemployment rates are actually increasing. The proof that this is a serious problem lies in an interview that I conducted from Stephen Wood from Russell Investments. He says that minimum wage laws tend to simply decrease the number of people who work at a new higher wage. So unemployment actually goes up with a smaller number of people benefiting from the new law. Thus, since a set amount of wages are distributed more so to a few people, less jobs will be offered. The problem impacts your life, audience, because if the minimum wage continues to rise, your chance at unemployment will continue to fall. It's that simple. Some people say this really isn't a problem though, because of the common misconception that raising the minimum wage will decrease the unemployment rate. I say they're wrong, and here's why. The data proves it pretty simply. Up on the screen are 5 charts of each of the presidential reigns since the minimum wage was enacted. All of these charts show how unemployment has fluctuated and minimum wage. However, let's go back to the misconception that as the minimum wage rises, unemployment will go down. All of the shaded green regions show minimum wage rising and unemployment rising, or minimum wage decreasing and unemployment decreasing. The other regions support their idea, but as you can see, the green shaded regions are the majority of the charts, thus disproving the fact that when minimum wage increases, unemployment will decrease. Instead, it's very unpredictable. Thus, the laws should be canceled. Now we can see that unemployment rates will most likely increase from minimum wage laws. Therefore, what do we do to solve this problem that the minimum wage is causing? Brings me to my second main point. The solution is to eliminate government intervention with the minimum wage and transition to being run by independent businesses, because regions and cities have differing needs than the state as a whole. The solution works like this. Since individual businesses have only a certain amount of money to distribute to job positions and are aware of the amount someone should be paid based on the time and skills their job requires, the businesses can split up pay salaries in their own efficient way without being held back by government-imposed restrictions. The proof that the solution works, again, stems from my interview with economist Stephen Wood. He says the most compelling argument is that minimum wage laws have no effect whatsoever in many cases, and in a large number of cases make the labor market or wage or inflation situation worse. Since minimum wage doesn't do anything for the economy and has the potential to make it worse anyways, getting rid of the laws, therefore, will only have the potential to have positive effects on the economy. Businesses, therefore, should be in charge of the wages they pay and leave the choice of whether or not to take a job up to the employees. Some say this kind of solution won't work because businesses will be unfair in distributing pay. Rather than a national law, impose only state laws, so there is some sort of governmental authority, but not one that is all-encompassing. I say they're wrong because, again, the numbers support my idea. This is an example of how much rent costs in different states. At the top of the list is San Francisco, with $216,129 being the average amount to pay for rent. In the same state, at number 13 on the list is Riverside, California, which is $53,100 for rent, almost half. Therefore, the businesses must be the ones to determine their own minimum wages in order to best benefit themselves, and clearly because each region and city has different needs. Now that we know that not having a minimum wage will be beneficial to businesses and individual region and city needs, it is easier to picture how much better off not only society will be, but how much better off the workers will be, especially those entering the job market. Without government-imposed minimum wage laws being taken away, there will be less jobs available in the market. According to Craig Garthwaite of Employment Policies Institute, the union-backed Economic Policy Institute has admitted that higher minimum wages will attract good workers, meaning less skilled workers need not apply. This means that people with less experience or lesser developed skills and others in the labor force will be discouraged from applying to higher-paying, limited-space jobs. This is because people with more skills or more experience will take the jobs. If businesses only have less job capacity, since they have to pay the workers more, then the more skilled workers will beat out all of the other workers, even those entering the market. If we put my solution in place, minimum wage being taken away, there will be no longer a problem. Businesses will be able to distribute wages according to a certain skill set, whether that be a more experienced skill set or not. More jobs will be available for those who have a lesser skill set and will have a lesser chance of being beat out by those with more skills and experience. Overall, there will be more jobs for all. And what's wrong with that? So in conclusion, clearly, minimum wage laws are not necessary and only have the potential to negatively affect businesses and those seeking jobs within America. Whenever possible, U.S. citizens have the power to vote and support less changes in minimum wage. Your vote speaks volumes in governmental procedures, and every vote counts. If you decide not to, we have seen the consequences. More unemployment, less jobs available for those entering the workforce, and individual regions will continue to clash with the state needs. So, again, people will naturally end up voting in favor of minimum wage laws because people decide, why not pay more if we can? However, remember, ultimately people have the power whether or not to choose to accept a job position. The minimum wage laws affect everyone at some point or another, but it's up to us whether or not we will go against the current of the world. Again, my name is Grace Young, and thank you for listening to my speech on the minimum wage.